Master your manners. Your manners are simply the way that you interact and engage with people. We hear the word etiquette a lot. And etiquette is simply that code of behavior or expected conduct for social behavior within society. So when you're mastering your manners and making that first impression, you know how to introduce yourself. And introducing yourself, you want to be loud and proud when you're making that introduction. Don't mumble. Don't talk so softly that individuals are not able to hear you. You want to be able to project your voice, not scream, but project your voice in a way that people can hear you loudly and clearly the first time when you're making your introduction. So that's why it's important to be loud and proud. And when you're making your introduction, especially to an individual or even in a networking environment for the very first time, you want to be able to clearly say in one sentence who you are, where you work, or if you're currently in school, where you attend school, and what do you do. And if you're currently in school, share what your aspiration is or what area you are studying. And most importantly, when you're introducing yourself, it's always important to get the name of the individual that you are introducing yourself to. Now, mastering your manners, making introductions, it also includes making eye contact, smiling, and offering up a handshake. Remember, we talked about the handshakes earlier. Your handshakes, making certain that those nails are well manicured or well groomed and neat and clean and they've been clipped accordingly and appropriately. But when you're making eye contact, I want to share with you a little trick. It's called the power eye. Many salespersons, they tend to use this when they are engaging with customers. And simply the power eye is always looking into the right eye of an individual. Now, when you are looking at someone, remember that their right eye appears to be on your left side. So if someone is facing you, like I'm facing you, this is my left eye. But when I'm looking at an individual, it's actually my left side is their right side. I've learned that in the performance world, stage left and stage right. Stage left is the actor's left and the audience's right, and stage right is the actor's right and the audience's left. So when you're making eye contact, you look into the right eye, which appears to be on your left side. That's the power eye. That's where that level of confidence is going to shine through. Always be sure to smile. Your smile shows your personality. Your smile, it creates a warm and inviting presence around you. And then always offer a handshake. If a handshake is extended back to you, there's a reciprocation of handshakes, then most definitely shake hands. And when you're shaking hands, here's a trick. We all have this little web. I'm going to bring it a little closer. We have this web. And make certain when you're shaking hands that you meet web to web and you put a nice, firm, not too hard of a grip, but a nice, firm grip when you're making your handshake. That speaks volumes. That shows power. That shows confidence in who you are. So making eye contact, smiling, and offering up a handshake are tools that you can use both on the professional and, most importantly, even in your personal day-to-day walk. In mastering your manners, you want to always say please and thank you. We live in a world today where oftentimes simple signs of courtesy tend to go either unnoticed or tend to go, let's say, not so much unnoticed, but not to be valued. You can never go wrong when you're being kind, when you're being courteous, and when you're being considerate of others. So always say please and thank you. When you're meeting people, when you're making introductions, remember to master your manners. Next, you want to manage your social media presence. Now, I want to share with you about a few things when we're talking about social media presence. Be sure to use common sense online just as you do offline. Remember that the line between professional and private is slowly but surely going away. Dialogue, not a monologue, is the platform that's used in social media. And you want to always be able to share useful information when we're talking about your social media presence in the professional realm. And especially in our healthcare careers, we want to remember, and in other professions as well, that confidentiality is crucial. So when you're on social media, you cannot be talking about your patients, your clients, your customer care. That is valued, respected, and private information. So when we're talking about using common sense online, just as you do offline, there really isn't a way to predict how your message will be read. And most importantly, by whom? Because with social media, you have to understand that the impact is not in who follows you, but who follows you. So there is an exponential increase with your post when you are, say, on Facebook making comments. You want to make certain to understand that it's not just about your friends. It can oftentimes be about your friends' friends receiving your post and your message. So understand, it's not always about who follows you, but who follows you. The line between professional and private is eroding. Even in the areas of healthcare professionals, there are certain policies and procedures that you must adhere to understand that anything that you say or post online can impact your reputation as well as your employer's reputation. So remember that patient information, research, subjects, they count on us and they rely on us to be able to keep information private. So understand, there are indeed cases where individuals have made comments from a personal level and posted on media sites such as Facebook, but it had a direct impact on their employment. So you want to realize that you have to be able to manage your social media presence. And oftentimes, I recommend that you establish a professional page on Facebook as well as a personal page on Facebook. So that a way the contacts and the friends that you're making in your professional realm, you're able to engage in conversation and interactions regarding latest insights or techniques or devices or equipment in your particular field, and it stays on that professional track. But remember that your personal page and your personal posts can still be one way of negatively impacting your profession if you happen to vent, go on rants, go on raves, or make inappropriate comments in your social media sites. In sharing useful information, Again, you can provide online reviews, you can comment on quality care. Maybe you have recently read an article that speaks directly to ways to engage and interact with patients as a way of improving your quality care or patient care and service. Well, that's information, that's a link to an article that you may want to share with your professional colleagues, and that is always a great idea. To recap, the 4 keys to making a lasting first impression is simply to amaze with your appearance, cultivate your confidence, master your manners, and to manage your social media presence. This concludes Module 1. I want to invite you to take Quiz 1 for first impressions. Until next time, here's to your shining success.